Hey everybody, what's going on? It's John, the Landscape Giant. Today we're going to be going over a very affordable but yet comprehensive tool bag that you can keep in the back seat of your work truck to handle what life's going to throw at you. And let's just get right into it. So when I started out, I had a Bucket Buddy. A lot of you have probably had these. They're very affordable, they're very cheap. The bucket maybe costs you $4. The caddy maybe costs you another 20 bucks. But this has a downside in the fact that it rocks and tips over, and I was just sick and tired of my tools going everywhere every time I took a hard turn. So I'm back to a bag. I've had metal toolboxes and everything. The bag, I think, for me is going to be where I'm going to be for at least another year. But inside of it, we've got everything we need to tackle almost any job or problem that we're going to run into on the job site. So let's just get after it. Hammers. When you need a hammer, nothing else will do. Although you can turn anything into a hammer, but that's a story for another day. I like dead blows. I've got a rubber dead blow, so we don't mar up any surfaces that are a little more delicate. And it's half. This is a 3 pound. That's a good hammer to start with. And then our second one is this nice Icon rubber grip ball peen style. They clearly stole this from Snap-on, but this is great. This will mar up whatever you're going to hit. This is 24 ounce, and you got to have 2 hammers. It's just something that, don't cheap out on it. Get yourself a couple good dead blow hammers, and get dead blows because when you hit something, they're not going to bounce back and go in your face like a typical, framing hammer. Sockets and ratchets. I run 1/2-inch drive. This is an SK ratchet. I really like it. I've picked up a couple of these SK ratchets over the year. If I see one at a garage sale, I buy it. The build quality is fantastic. The gnarled grip on the handle, the drive, the way the tooth, it has that like big heavy duty sound to it. This one's taken a lot of abuse, and I hope I can get a couple more years out of it, but this has been a great ratchet. I just picked these up today because I'm tired of taking the sockets out of my toolbox and putting them in the bag, and I decided quit being cheap and get yourself a dedicated set of toolbox sockets. 1/2-inch drive, comes in this really nice case. I just picked this up from Harbor Freight today. It was like $24. It goes all the way up to 1.25 inches, which is important for me because my skid steer, my Vermeer CTX 160, it needs 1 1/8 to tighten the drive sprockets on the tracks. And you got to have that. And I went with the impact rated ones because I do have a battery impact gun, and I think that that's important to have something that is just a little bit more beefy. We've all seen the chrome sockets on the impact guns. It's not preferred, but it'll do it a trick. 2 crescent wrenches. You got to have 2. You got to have the adjustables. I like 10-inch. I like the metal. When you're tightening hydraulic fittings on whether it be the skid steer or the dump trailer or something comes loose, you need 2, you need that leverage. And I was running a couple of these little guys. I think this is 6-inch, this is a little 6-inch. And these are great for detail work, but I don't even carry this in the tool bag anymore. I just carry this. Flashlight. Most of the time these breakdowns are gonna happen at the worst time. And you're probably going to be on the side of the road or in a parking lot. It's going to be late or early in the morning. And this little Craftsman magnetic light with the clip, with the 2 different styles, it's got a flood and a wide angle flood and a spot, and it's magnetic. I mean, magnetic's the way to go. It's a strong magnet. And it runs on AA's. That's the other thing. I think it's AA's. Let's check. I should probably have looked before we started. Triples. AAA, so you can get those at any gas station, hardware store, Rite Aid, whatever you might be driving by. Get you back in the game quick. 2 screwdrivers. You gotta have a flathead. This is like a mini pry bar, we all know that, and we got a Phillips. Number 2 Phillips, because that's the most common. I liked the rubber handle at first, but the rubber handles get so dirty and like tacky and I don't know, I'm kind of phasing out rubber handles and I'm going back to plastic. They're just a little bit easier to keep clean. A little bit of, WD-40 gets on the plastic and it doesn't like soak in like it does on the rubber. And it doesn't get all grimy and everything. But get something comfortable that you can squeeze hard with your hand and it doesn't hurt. Now, a couple of these tools are going to be tree service related. I run a tree service. You need scrunches. I was running the classic scrunch for years. I never thought I would need something else until I just started seeing these pop up everywhere. And boy, this is a good investment. If you can only have one fun tool in here, you know, I would say buy yourself, if you want a tree service, the ratcheting scrunch. It's just great. It has both sizes, small and big. You can do everything. It fits under the wrap handles. It's just easier to use. They throw these in for free. I mean, take them and use them, but I'm running the ratcheting scrunch now. I've had it since about June. Files. Gotta have files. I got 2 round files, one for my smaller top handle saws and one for my larger 3/8 style chainsaws, and a flat file. Some might call these mill files, Bastard mill files, but a flat file is a must. And if you're gonna have a flat file, you gotta have a depth gauge for your rakers. I've got both. I've got this, which you can find on Amazon. Sometimes you can see it in some like saw shops. And I bought a couple of these West Coast 3/8 raker gauges. And they're good, but if you have safety chain, like a lot of you probably do, the safety chain does not fit very well inside this groove. And it's a little bit difficult to sharpen the safety chain rakers down, file the safety chain rakers down. So I usually just take this one in the bag, and this one stays at the shop. But I've taken this with me. I like it. You see I've got some pretty good use out of it. It's probably time for a new one. But yeah, you gotta have a depth gauge. And we're not gonna be like doing really high-end sharpening, you know, on our saws. We just need to get back in business, that's all. Utility knives. Whew. Man, everyone likes theirs, whether it's the Milwaukees or the old school. You know, you see the roofers, they have their Stanleys or whatever. I like a mini. If I don't have my pocket knife, I like this mini. This is great for cutting like sheathing, plastic boxes, stuff like that, mail. And then when we get into a little more heavy duty work, or maybe we gotta cut landscape fabric, these cheap little Craftsman utility knives are great. This one has a seatbelt cutter in it. So, you know, you roll up on an accident, or maybe you gotta cut yourself out of a seatbelt. Never know, you could be the hero too. Tape measure. Get a good tape. Get a 30-foot or 25-foot. Don't get those little short 8, 15, 20, no, get a big tape. And get one that has everything written out on it, that's clearly easy to read. You know, the camera's about 4 feet from me right now, and you can make this out if you had to. But I really like it. It has everything all the way down to the 1/8 inch marks. So if you're not good, I'm not a carpenter, but if I'm doing stuff and I need to be a little more exact, I use a tape that makes it easy on me and makes me look like a pro, even though maybe I'm not 100% sure what I'm doing. Zip ties, electrical tape, and super glue. All 3 of these. Super glue can really help you get back in the game. If you're willing to wait for it just to dry out. You can even seal up your little finger cuts or stuff like that where you nick yourself with a little super glue. It's gonna burn, but you'll get back in the game. Electrical tape. I like electrical tape over duct tape because these fixes sometimes turn into permanent things. We don't intend them to, but they turn into permanent things. So if you're gonna be working on something where you know you need electrical tape, just use it from the beginning. And it'll be the way to go. And then if you're gonna be using duct tape, you might as well just zip tie it anyway. Use a zip tie. I like these short little ones because I can fit them in there, and honestly, hydraulic hoses and stuff like that, you can zip tie them right on with these little 6-inch zip ties. You can even chain these together and make them bigger if needed. Very affordable, very inexpensive. You can get a whole bunch in a pack. It's really reasonable. And since we're on the subject of fixing things, I lose trailer pins all the time. I think there's like a trailer pin gnome that follows me around and takes them when I'm not looking. So I just buy these at the hardware store by literally the tote. I'll get like a 10-pack and I just forget them. I'm sure it's me who's losing them. But you know, keep a couple with you. It doesn't hurt. I usually keep 2 or 3. And then if you're gonna be under there and you're gonna be working on stuff on the truck bed, maybe you're not on a level surface, get a magnet. I like these welding magnets. They form right angles. They're real strong. I mean, That's not a good judge. I like these welding magnets. They're real good. You can hold on to your bolts. They're not going to go anywhere. And when you're working on like a trimmer or the mower, and you can just put everything together. You can stick this right on your steel mower or steel skid steer, or if you have a truck that's not got like an aluminum tailgate, you can put this on it and everything's going to stay right there. But that's it. We've got some dirt. Well, that's my kit. I think that it's really basic. If you think I need something else in my comprehensive work kit, let me know. Let me know what you're carrying in your kit in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you out there. Thanks for hanging out.